Article 260, Responsibility of Participants in a Duel. The penalty of reclusion temporal shall be imposed upon any person who shall kill his adversary in a duel. Ang Article 260 ng RPC ay nakakabalangkas sa mga parusa para sa mga kalahok sa isang tunggalian. Kung mapatay ng isang kalahok ang kanilang kalaban sa isang tunggalian, harapin nila ang parusa ng reclusion temporal. Kung pisikal na pinsala lamang ang kanilang natamo ang parusa ay iba batay sa uri ng mga pinsala. Ito yung sa Article 260 nakatutok sa mga kahihinatnan ng pagsali sa isang tunggalian, lalo na kapag ito ay humantong sa pinsala o kamatayan ng kalaban. And Article 261 is challenge to a duel. Especially targets the act of challenging another to a duel. This includes directly challenging someone, encouraging them to accept a challenge, or inciting them to issue a challenge. Sa Article 261, ito ay pinagbabawal nito ang paghamon sa iba o pag-uudyok sa kanila na magbigay o tumanggap ng isang hamon o pampublikong alipusta o panunuya sa isang tao dahil sa pagtanggi sa isang tunggalian. Ito naaayon ito sa Article 260 and 261 is yung mga katulad kong estudyante na yung mga nagkakainitan sa asaran or ganon is nagpupunta hinahamon ni Pedro si Juan dahil napikon si Pedro, hinamon niya si Juan na hinamon niya sa suntukan. Ngayon, nung nagsuntukan sila sa labas ng gate, sa labas ng gate hanggang tapos is nasapak niya si Juan, tapos si Juan naman is sumama yung loob. Tsaka sumama yung loob ni Juan, and then hindi alam ni Juan na nagdilim yung paningin niya, kaya ayun is gumanti din siya hanggang sa sumama din ang loob ni Pedro, hanggang yun na hanggang sa sumama yung loob ni Pedro, naglabas siya ng matalim na bagay or deadly weapon, hanggang sa ito ay naisaksak niya kay Juan. Kaya pwede siya mag-fall dito sa 260 or 261. If ang 260, kung nandun sila sa isang kalahok na parang paglaban na, sabihin na natin politika, ngayon pinagbobotos, mga ganon, maraming mga vote buying, mga ganon, is pwede din nainis yung isa dahil di niya natanggap, ganon. Yun lang po. Thank you.
Article 262, mutilation. It is the chopping or the clipping of some parts of the body which is not susceptible to growth again. Sabi naman dito, it is the chopping or the clipping of. Ito na yung mga katawan na pagtatanggal ng mga organ na isang tao na hindi muling may babalik or tutubo. Kinds of mutilation. Number 1, intentionally mutilating another by depriving him, either totally or partially, of some essential organ for reproduction elements. Letter A, there must be a castration, which is mutilation of organs necessarily for generation, such as the penis or ovarium. And letter B, mutilation is caused purposely and deliberately, which is to deprive the offended party of some essential organ for reproduction. Sabi naman dito is, hindi daw lahat ng mga kinakailangan nila sa pag-alis ng mga organ ay dapat daw nila kailangan alisin or intentionality na ginagawa na dapat ay sinadya or ginawa nila yung mga layunin at hindi lamang ito aksidente. Sa pag mutilation ng mga organ. And then, intentionally depriving the victim of the reproductive organ does not mean necessarily the cutting of the organ or any parts of thereof. It suffices that it is rendered useless. Ito nga sinabi ko kanina sa letter A at letter B, hindi daw nila sinadya or pag-alis daw ng mga organ ay para sa pagpaparami, ay hindi na nila kinakailangan yung mga pagpuputol or pagkakay ng mga organ. Kinukuha lang daw nila yung mga sapat nilang kunin kagaya ng mga kidney, puso, at iba pa. Intention of mutilation. Mutilation must organs be intentional. Thus, it cannot be committed through criminal negligence. There must be an intent to kill, otherwise the offense is attempted or frustrated. Ayun nga, diba, sinabi ko kanina, hindi daw nila sinasadya kunin yung mga katawan nila at hindi daw ito criminal na kapabayaan at walang intensyon na pumatay. Maaari itong ituring na attempted or murder daw.
Article 263 defines and penalizes serious physical injuries. Any person that wounds, beats, or assaults another person. The injured person suffers from becoming insane, imbecile, impotent, blind, losing the use of speech, hearing, or smell, losing a hand, foot, arm, or becoming incapacitated for work. Examples are severe lacerations or deep cuts, yung mga malalayong na sugat, amputation, pagputol ng parte ng katawan, broken bones, pagkabali ng buto, at internal injuries, yung mga tulad ng pagdurugo sa loob ng katawan, internal hemorrhage. So, ang liable dito is any person. Kahit sino, mapabata, matanda, pwedeng liable dito. So, example nito is si Juan ay nakaalitan niya si Pedro. Kaya, nung nag-init ang ulo ni Juan, nagdilim ang kanyang paningin, hinampas niya ng 2x2 sa ulo si Pedro na nagresulta ng pagdurugo sa utak ni Pedro tsaka pagkakaroon ng mga konting crack sa bungo ni Pedro. Penalty nito is prison correctional. Duration between 6 months and 1 day to 6 years. Yun ang penalty ng paglabag sa Article 263. Next naman is yung Article 264. Defines and penalize the crime of slight physical injuries. Kung sa Article 263 is penalize serious physical injuries, dito naman sa Article 264 is defines and penalize the crime of slight physical injuries, yung mga slight lang. It specifies that the crime of slight physical injuries shall punishable by arresto mayor when the injuries incapacitate the victim for 1 to 9 days or require medical attention during the same period. Penalty, arresto mayor, imprisonment of 1 month and 1 day to 6 months, and a fine not exceeding 10,000 pesos. Example nito is yung bruises, mga pasa, sprain, and minor cuts. So, example naman dito is, example ako, sinuntok ko yung isang tao na nakaalitan ko, tapos nagkapasa siya sa mukha, black eye, ganon, or kung saan parte ko siya sinuntok. nagkapasa siya, pwede akong maging liable sa Article 264, crime of slight physical injuries. Although hindi ko siya napatay, pero nagkaroon siya ng pasa sa katawan, kaya liable ako sa slight physical injuries. That's all. Thank you.
Article 265, less serious physical injuries. It is committed by any person who shall inflict upon another physical injuries not described in Articles 263 and 264, but which shall incapacitate the offended party for labor for 10 days or more, or shall require medical assistance for the same period. So, may dalawang elements para mai-apply itong article na ito. Ang number 1 is the offended party is incapacitated for labor for 10 days or more, but not more than 30 days, or shall require medical attendance for the same period of time. So, dito sa element number 1, ibig sabihin dito is, if yung victim, as a result of injury na nag-inflict sa kanya, ay nawalan siya ng kakayahan na magtrabaho for 10 days or hindi hihigit sa 30 days. Or di kaya, yung injury na na-inflict sa kanya ay kailangan ng medical attendance or yung pabalik-balik na gamutan, pero dapat hindi pa rin mag-e-exceed ng more than 30 days. Pag nag-exceed kasi siya ng more than 30 days, hindi na yun less serious physical injuries. Babagsak na yun sa serious physical injuries. So, number 2, physical injuries must not be thus described in Articles 263 and 264. Sinasabi dito na dapat hindi daw serious physical injuries. Dapat daw less serious physical injuries. For example, sinaksak ni Pedro si Juan, pero hindi niya intention. Kaya, na-hospital si Juan ng 2 days. Pero sabi nung doktor niya na hindi muna siya makakapagtrabaho ng 29 days kasi kapag nagtrabaho siya, bubuka yung kanyang sugat at hahayaan mo nang maghilom ito. Dito, ang nakomit na crime ni Pedro ay less serious physical injuries. Pero, kapag nag-exceed ito ng more than 30 days, ito ay magiging serious physical injuries na. Hindi lang yung days ng kung kailan na hospital ang isang victim, kundi pati yung kung gaano siya katagal gagaling. Yun din yung binibilang. Hindi lang yung kung ilang araw siyang na-hospital. Article 266 is like physical injuries and maltreatment. Number 1. When the offender has inflicted physical injuries which shall incapacitate the offended party for labor from 1 day to 9 days or shall require medical attendance during the same period. Number 2. When the offender has caused physical injuries which do not prevent the offended party from engaging in his habitual work, nor require medical assistance. Number 3. When the offender shall ill-treat another by deed without causing any injury. So, dito sa number 1, wala siyang, hindi. Parehas din lang siya sa Article 263 and 265. Ang pinagkaiba lang nila ay yung incapacity, which is 1 day to 9 days only. So, dito sa number 2 is when the offender has caused, ibig sabihin nito, as long as na nasaktan ka, kunwari, kinurot ka or sinuntok ka sa tiyan, pero nasaktan ka pa rin, pero walang consequence yun sa'yo, makakapagtrabaho ka pa rin. Dito sa number 3, wala kang injury pero may ill treatment. For example, sinampal ka or sinabunutan ka.
Article 267. Kidnapping and serious illegal detention. Any private individual who shall kidnap or detain another or in any other manner deprive him of his liberty shall suffer the penalty of reclusion perpetua to death. Kapag ang isang pribadong tao ay nakidnap o nabilanggo ng ibang tao ng labag sa batas, siya ay maaring makulong habang buhay o patawan ng kamatayan. If the kidnapping or detention shall have lasted more than 5 days, kung ang biktima ay nakulong o hawak ng higit sa 5 araw, mas mabigat ang kaso. If it shall have been committed simulating public authority, kapag ang suspect ay nagkunwaring pulis o opisyal ng gobyerno, mas malala ang parusa. If any serious physical injuries shall have been inflicted upon the person kidnapped or detained, or if threats to kill him shall have been made, kapag ang biktima ay sinaktan ng matindi o tinakot na papatayin, mas malubha ang kaso. If the person kidnapped or detained shall be a minor female or a public officer, na mas grabe ang parusa kung ang biktima ay bata, babae o empleyado ng gobyerno. The penalty shall be death where the kidnapping or detention was committed for the purpose of extorting ransom from the victim or any other person, even if none of the circumstances above mentioned were present in the commission of the offense. Kung ang layunin ng pagkidnap ay para humingi ng pera o anumang kapalit para sa kalayaan ng biktima, ang parusa ay kamatayan kahit wala ang ibang nabanggit na kondisyon.
Article 268, and this is the slight illegal detention. Yan, article. And ano nga ba to? This refers to a situation where a private individual detains or kidnaps another person without legal authority or against their will. But the crime is less serious compared to Article 267, which is the serious illegal detention. And what is this? It does not involve ransom, violence, or a public officer abusing their power. And the penalty may be lighter, especially if the offender voluntarily releases the victim within 3 days. Or another one is the victim was not harmed, and lastly is no criminal case was filed. Ang example na itong article na to, slight illegal detention, is a person locks their neighbor in a room for a day due to a personal grudge, but later lets them go unharmed. So parang yung sabi nga kanina, na hindi nagkakos ito ng violence or ransom, hindi siya humihingi ng anumang amount ng pera para mapalaya yung isang tao na tawag dito, parang kinidnap niya, ganun. And another one is hindi niya sinaktan, kumbaga personal grudge niya, gusto niya lang parang ikulong sa isang room, ganun, yung isang tao, pero papakawalan niya pa rin. Yun yung Article 268, slight illegal detention. And proceed tayo sa Article 269, which is the Article 269, unlawful arrest. This is committed when someone arrests or detains another person without any legal grounds or proper authority. Usually involves a false claim of legal power or acting as if the person being arrested committed a crime when they didn't. Ano nga ba to? So yung intention naman nito is to harass, shame, or intimidate the victim. So ang pinaka-example nito is yung a person pretending to be a law enforcer. Yan, for example, yung mga ibang mga tao minsan pinipeke nila yung sarili nila na police daw sila, then nag-accuse sila ng someone na nagnakaw daw pero wala silang sapat na ebidensya. And yun nga, wala na nga silang sapat na ebidensya, wala silang na-provide na evidence, and wala pa silang authority. Kumbaga, sinasabi lang nila na pulis sila pero wala silang maipakita na ID na pulis ako ganito. Wala silang maipakita na valid na documents or representation na pulis nga talaga sila, na pwede silang manghuli ng isang tao. Yun yung unlawful arrest. And usually, yun nga, sabi nga dito, usually involves a false claim of legal power or acting as if the person being arrested committed a crime when they didn't. Yun.
Article 270 deals with kidnapping and failure to return a minor. It specifically addresses the case where someone entrusted with the custody of a minor deliberately fails to return the minor to their parents or guardians. The penalty for this crime is reclusion perpetua. Example, si Ana, isang guro sa daycare, ay pinagkatiwalaan ng mga magulang ni Miguel, isang 4 na taong gulang na bata, upang alagaan siya sa loob ng isang araw. Sa halip na ibalik si Miguel sa kanyang mga magulang, pagkatapos ng pag-aaral, sinadya niyang itago ang bata sa kanyang bahay nang walang paintulot ng mga magulang ni Miguel. Dahil dito, maaaring kasuhan si Ana ng kidnapping at hindi pagbabalik sa minor de edad.
I discuss Article 271, inducing a minor to abandon his home. It is committed by anyone who shall induce a minor to abandon the home of his parents or guardians, or the persons entrusted with his custody. May dalawang element para masabi nating Article 271 ito. Una, a minor is living in the home of his parents or guardian or the person entrusted with his custody. Pangalawa, offender induces said minor to abandon such home. Pero take note natin, it is not necessary that the minor actually abandon the home to commit the crime. What constitutes the crime is the act of inducing minor to abandon his home or the home of his guardians, and it is not necessary that minor actually abandons the home. Article 272, slavery. It is committed by anyone who shall purchase, sell, kidnap, or detain a human being for the purpose of slaving him. May dalawang elemento upang makomit itong crime na to. Offender purchase, sell, kidnap, or detain a human being. Kung daw nagkidnap ganon ng isang offender, the purpose of the offender is to slave such as human. Kung ang purpose daw niya ay slave niya. Qualifying circumstances: when the purpose of the offender is to assign the offended party to the some immoral traffic. Example, ginawa niyang prostitute yung inislave niyang babae. Mas malaki ang fine niya dun.
Article 273, exploitation of child labor, is committed by anyone who, under the pretext of reimbursing himself of a debt incurred by an ascendant, guardian, or person
entrusted with the custody of a minor shall against the latter's will retain him in his service. May tatlong elements upang mag-apply itong article na ito. First element, offender retains a minor in his service. Second, it is against the will of the minor. And third, it is under the pretext of reimbursing himself of a debt incurred by an ascendant, guardian, or person entrusted with the custody of such minor. Nangyayari po ito kapag yung ascendant ng bata, like parent, grandparents, or great-grandparents, guardian, or person entrusted with his or her custody ay may utang sa iba. Tapos hindi mabayaran yung utang, ngayon, itong pinagkautangan o itong tinatawag nating creditor ay kukunin yung bata upang magtrabaho. Pero hindi niya sasahuran. Instead, yung pagtatrabaho ng bata ay pambayad sa utang ng kanyang ascendant or guardian. Ang liable po dito sa article na ito ay creditor, pero nagiging liable lang siya pag walang consent yung minor or ayaw ng bata magtrabaho, pero pag gusto ng bata, walang liability. Next, Article 274. Services rendered under compulsion in payment of debt is committed by any person who, in order to require or enforce the payment of a debt, shall compel the debtor to work for him against his will as household servant or farm laborer. May tatlong elements upang mag-apply itong article na ito. First element, offender compels a debtor to work for him either as household servant or farm laborer. Debtor po ang tawag natin sa taong nagkautang. Creditor naman ang taong napag-utangan. Second, it is against the debtor's wills. And third, the purpose is to require or enforce the payment of a debt. Ito ay isang krimen na nagagawa ng isang creditor against sa kanyang debtor sa pamamagitan ng pagpilit gawing katulong sa bahay or farm laborer yung debtor. Yung gustong gawin ni creditor ay ayaw ni debtor. Kung gusto ni debtor, wala namang problema. Pero kung ayaw at pinilit, papasok itong Article 274. May legal way po para maningil. Kung ikaw ay isang creditor, mag-file po kayo ng case for collection of sum of money or small claim case. Huwag nating ilagay sa kamay natin ang batas. That's all. Thank you.